Hello Taurus, how you doing? Welcome to your energy tarot reading here on the Astroflower. We're going to be going into how the energies are affecting your elements a little bit later on. I'm putting a few cards on what those energies coming into the system, coming in your chakras and your aura, to see how that's playing with the elements within your Astroflower. That's coming up. First of all, let's get into the messages from the Astroflower and see what's going on with the tarots as well. So let's just see what's going on here. Here we go. We got the overall general energy that's coming in. And this is sort of the energy that's flowing through you. There's a real determination here. I think this is what the energy from within is all about. And there's a certain degree of sort of confronting something on your relationship side, on your your emotional side, your spiritual side of life. There seems to be an energy that's flowing through you that's confronting a situation within your life. And it could be a question that you're asking yourself. It could be a question that you're asking, outside you, within your partnership, within, with you, between you and your partner, or your family, or your friends, or your community, whatever it is. It seems to be, you seem to be going to confront it in a way. On your financial sort of side here, This is where the energy from within comes out in a different way here. It's got to be a lot more precise than it is on the relationship side. The relationship side seems to be on all fronts, whereas on the financial sides, it's much more sort of focused on the connection between what you've started and what you want to achieve. It is in that you seem to be in that manifestation process. Of creating your future, creating this idea, nurturing this idea, germinating. That's the word I'm looking for. Germinating the idea. And it's almost as if like you can see the first shoots coming through and see what you're going to be doing with this. 9 of Swords. Yeah, I think there is a lot of pressure on you at the moment. If a bull, if you go into a field, right? A bull, a Taurus, Toro, tends to be a very actually calm and placid being, But if I go in the middle of the field and start, teasing, throwing a red flag in front of the bull, you should only expect the bull to sort of get annoyed and kind of go, right, I'm going to have you. And that's what I feel here is happening here. I think there is a lot of pressure on you. Yes. Are you capable of dealing with it? Yes, I think so. But I think you're feeling the pressure this week. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You could really turn it on its head. Certainly on the financial side, I think it's really good. On the relationship side, there may be things that you're confronted with that you're not used to confronting. And because you're not necessarily used to confronting it, it's puts you under a bit of a pressure simply because you haven't got the instantaneous answers as it comes through for you. So let's just see what's going on there on the karmic path. There's a real evolutionary process, I think, going on within your spirit here. And it's moving from one state to another. That's the whole evolutionary process. And it's going through understanding. And sometimes understanding can be quite difficult and a little bit sort of direct and painful in a way. But here I think is very practical for you more than anything else. Very, very practical for you. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of desire to socialise this week for yourself. I almost feel like it's almost as if I'm kind of going, I've got to work this out. Therefore, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything until I work it out. I don't think you're doing yourself any favours there. I think you should keep it as light as possible. I think that's where you're going to find the solution, which is often pretty difficult for Taurus, to be honest. It's like when emotions are there, you like the emotions to be there. And when they're not there and they're sort of like they're nondescript, it's it doesn't feel right for you, that sort of thing. So I think it's better to go out there and actually get involved and allow things to sort of be a little bit lighter on your feet, as it were. Otherwise, you're going to be too heavy with that Nine of Swords. There's a good deal of reminiscing of the past, and you've got to let go of the past in order for it to come back to you. That's the way it works. It's like cycles of life. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. And when it's hard, we think about the times it's easy. And when it's easy, we're worried about the times coming hard. And, it's on this sort of like, being on one side and the grass is greener always on the other side of the river, as it were, sort of scenario. But here is for you, it's like, it's you can't expect to hold on to it without it actually evolving. So if you go over to the other side, you think the grass is greener on the other side of the road, it's actually an effect of light. But when you go over there, obviously the goats and that, they eat up all the grass, and then that's why the other side becomes greener. And, it's no point just waiting around in that field for the grass to grow, because it's not going to happen. I think you do need to move on, as it were, within you. And there's a beautiful revelation to you that's out the top here because of that process. I do think it's hard for you this week here, but I think it's with fantastic goals, really good, with good outcomes for you. Don't shy away from true knowledge is the message that comes out of this week here for you on the relationship side. It seems quite tricky. I want to pull some cards here. I really do. It's nurturing, yeah? That's what it's all about. And I was sort of saying, don't wait for it to grow. You've got to nurture something else. And I think you've got to be open to evolving this week here. And it's not sort of saying, oh, I'm completely wrong or the other person's completely wrong or stuff like that. Times just move on. Things change, things rearrange. And it's like you've got to adapt to it. That's why I think you need to make it a little bit lighter than you should do. On your connection to the universe, and this is where I was sort of saying you've got to go out there and meet it. Just be joyous. Just take it easy. Sometimes when it doesn't go right, you just kind of go, someone says to you, how's life going? You can go, oh no, it's really bad, it's really hard. And it could be really hard. And kind of like if someone just sort of says, how's life going? You kind of go, wow, it's a pilot, it's a crock of shit. But, what can you do about it? Anyway, how are you? Sort of thing, you know what I mean? Have that sort of approach to it. And so you don't have to ponder on it. It allows you to, have that release of pressure upon you. And yeah, this is on the past. This is the past that I think you're dreaming about, is being on an adventure with someone and going and exploring things and almost opening up the doors of the unexpected in your life. And I think that's what has been happening within relationships for you. And now it's getting into a rhythm. It may not be moving as quickly as you want. This is where you've got to allow your heart to really open up to the next stage of things. And it could be, if you're looking for love, it could be a case here that just don't hide under your own bushel. Don't stay at home like this person here, just kind of going, oh man, it's a nightmare. Life ain't easy for no one, I don't think, at the moment, really. I think it's quite difficult for a lot of people, regardless on the relationship side as much as on the financial side. And, was it life benefits the brave or something like that? And just be brave and get out there and, it may go wrong. Don't worry about it. It may go wrong today, but tomorrow it's not going to go wrong, because you're eventually going to get the rhythm that comes back to you. And I think this is what you're opening up. And yeah, and there you go. So it's good celebrations in your future here. A real revelation about your connection to other people, your enjoyment, your, the fun of life again. You might have been, I tell you what this could well be, actually. I tell you what this could well be. 2-3 weeks ago, I think we did, I did a reading and just sort of saying for Taurus, and I think it was something along the lines of, just be careful of that work play ethic. And, you're really concentrating on your work side a bit too much. And, when the cat's away, the mice will play, and you almost lose that rhythm of it all. Yeah, it almost feels like it pulled you out of that sort of situation within the relationship. And I think this is you getting back into the saddle of a relationship. And yeah, it's might have been a bit of a shock and caused you a bit of stress and strain from within you, but the way you're encountering it afterwards is absolutely beautiful. And look at that. What did I say about the lessons? Sort of, be prepared to learn, or whatever it was. This is you going into a whole new way of engaging with the relationships that are around you. Maybe here is that, you see the world worse than it actually is. And it's probably a lot better than you may think. It certainly looks really good on the relationship side, but there is a bit of nurturing to do. Yes, I do think there is some work to be done on your side in regards to other people, but it's not necessarily. I don't think it's hard work. I think it's actually quite practical for you, because we've got the Seven of Pentacles. It's very practical, the way you engage, the time you give it, and so forth. Okay, let's just see what's going on your financial side. I got a funny feeling here that you've put a little bit too many eggs in one basket. That's the sort of sensation I get off of here. And this could be that factor that you were really concentrating on your work sort of like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I think it's like it is coming home to roost a little bit in a good way, because obviously if you concentrate on something really hard, there is going to be advancements in what you're concentrating on. And that side of things is pretty good. But at the same time, it's like, you may have paid in other areas. And now you're in a rhythm in that side of things. You've got to streamline a lot of things in order to start making it work for you. So basically, if I was starting I started a business, let's say, I started like a food truck business, snack bar sort of thing out of the back of a van. And, at the beginning, I'm taking the orders, I'm cooking the thing, I'm doing the accountancy, doing the buying, everything like that. And it's working. It's working quite well. But I've only just got enough to sort of pay another person and me. So then maybe I can pay that person then to do the preparation and the cooking or whatever. And it just makes life a lot more enjoyable for you. And that's what I mean by streamlining it a little bit. And that could be also within your workspace, within your career path. Allow the company and allow things to take on a little bit more the stress and strain, as it were, in order, for you to do a lot better within what you're doing. But that's what it seems like on the karmic path, that there seems to be a little bit of that. Let's just see where there is sort of like... On the universe, on the connection with other people that are around you, there seems to be a connection that you had, that, like it could be sort of like I don't want to say business partner. It could be a client. It could be just someone that's been involved in your business or been involved in your career path that you might have betted on and kind of sort of saying, yeah, that's a ticket forward. And you're starting to realise that maybe, that's just a step on the way. It's not necessarily the ending. It's a step from one state to another. And I think you've got to get out there more and do a bit more networking and that sort of thing, a bit more connecting around you within life in order to get your career path going in the direction you want it to be going in. Not that it's not, but to really get it cemented in there, or you get in your business heading in a particular type of direction. This is playing into the future, and it's pouring into the answers that are coming out of this week. It's almost as if like you're sort of saying, your past is sort of saying that acorn that you planted, that idea that you got last week, it's only going to grow according to how much you nurture it. A little bit like the Seven of Pentacles on that sort of side. But in the future, it does grow incredibly well, and it is leaning to making decisions. So it could be a job in management that you're going for, and that's the direction that it's sort of heading for. but it's making decisions as well about your business or your projects or what you want to do on the material side of life. And in the general lessons for this week here, nature waits for no one. And it's like the circle of life, as if to sort of say, I think the lesson coming out of this week is sort of saying, you've started something, so you've got to finish it. And you are very good at finishing, Taurus, very good at finishing. And I think this is like, there's a big push going on for you to get things done. Yeah, on the karmic path, you've got this planning here, sticking with the plan. Could be a degree of travel that's involved in all of this, but there is at the same time planning for the future, and this could be streamlining. In other words, sort of planning that you may want to have that business so it really starts working for you. And in order to do that, you probably it seems like you've got to take someone on with you. So, employ someone so it frees you up to do a little bit more, and it could be a case of like that you take 2 people on to do the food truck, and that means you can install another food truck in another place somewhere, and then that's it. Before you know it, you got your franchise going, that sort of thing. It's like sticking to the plan. On the connection to the universe, yeah, I think you have taken a particular direction here, and I think you do need to take a particular direction, and it's you who's deciding where you take this now, this idea, and you're really engaged in it in a way that these are the people that I need to connect with. These are the business partners I need to have, or these are the people I need to speak to in order to get my career path moving in the direction that I want it to move in. Yeah, and this is this thing from the past. You get the devil card, the death card, death and rebirth. And I think this is about you planting the seed of life. That circle of life that I'm sort of saying stops for no person. It started, so you might as well get on board and get really pushing it. Obviously, you've got to be careful of the relationship side, and I think this is where the streamlining comes into play. And I think the world, or the universal energy, understands that when you're doing your business, you can't do 80 hours a week and still have a life on the side. It's just not going to be possible. So I think the universe is also asking you, and I think it's good for you to answer, what sort of work-play balance do you want in your life? This is really good for you. And there's a lot of happiness in the future. I think if you do sort of like I do healing. That's my daytime job. That's what I've been doing for the last 25, 30 years, and I've seen enormous amounts of people. And I used to do it uniquely on donation, which I'm very curious about going back to in the future. And I used to love it. So I used to hold it out in my hands like that, and I used to keep my eyes shut, and they put their money in my hands like that, and I put the money in my pocket, and then basically I'd do that with every single person that I've had in the day. So I wouldn't know how much each person has given me. I'd just come out with the end of the day with this amount of money that I'd been donated. And it worked really well, and I really, really like that. But when I needed a pay rise, because I've been doing it for 20 odd years, when I needed a pay rise, I just looked at the energy and said, right, I need a pay rise. And the next day, the pay rise came into place. And I think this is the sort of attitude that you need to have on your financial side. And that's what I mean by streamlining it, so it really gets you into a line with yourself. Look at that, 2 of Cups that plays into there on the lessons that comes out of this week here. You have to be implanted in this in a way that it feels right totally for you, without you having to sort of, allow that woes and worries to come to the surface. I think it's just being really focused and streamlined. It's worrying you at the moment inside, but I think your worries are greater than the actual problems. Let's have a look see what the energy that's coming in. So we're looking at air and water energy. We'll have a look at the energies and see how that affects your elements. So here is the sun over the last week. The main thing that was happening, we had a couple of X-flares at the beginning of the week. And we've had these filament energies that have come off at the bottom of it. Now, none of it has been earth directed. It's all been sort of side-swiping the earth. And as it side-swipes the earth, it increases that friction which creates that sort of mixture between two magnetic fields, which creates a lot of air within the system. And within the earth energy, there's a lot of air. And we saw that on the energy update that we went out this week. If you haven't seen it, please do go and see it. It's absolutely great messages from the earth. There is a filament eruption here, and this is the other thing that we were talking about, and it's not the only one. It's a beautiful one that just came off at the end there. And it's, there's been quite a few. Some of them have been directed towards Earth, and this is that emotional energy, that water energy that's coming through. It's driving a little bit of the mental, emotional state as well. And that could have something to do with that 9 of Swords that you had in the middle of you. You may be feeling that from within you, and there's a certain desire to get on and get moving. And we've seen this also within the Earth itself. Now, this is a thing that we call the delay. It's all about radio frequency, and you can see that the pole areas are really been lit up, and that has been for quite a few days now. And this is where we get that static electricity done in the air, which is that air energy. So that's the main thing that's been playing really through the vibrations. And so we're looking at a combination of air and water. Well, within your sign here, this is Taurus here, the only air that we can see is this air that comes in from Gemini just next to you. There's a little bit of influence from the air that comes in from Aquarius on this side here. But apart from that, it's pretty much, this is the only section it's playing into you. And this is where the pressure you may be feeling is directed at you, because it comes in and it's a mutable energy. It comes in from the relationship side, but then comes down your internal being on your financial side. And I think this is where the pressure is of the work-play ethic within your life is going to be really important. And you're in a position where you can decide how you want it to be. So let's just get some messages from the that vibration that's coming in. I want to pull it in this section here around the sun. So that's pure happiness in your future. Really fulfilling stuff for you. And also in how it gets you into alignment with yourself for you. But also on this connecting point here and this connecting point here, which is that water energy that we saw that was coming through with the filament energies as well. So let's just see what the messages is from the universe and how we can get the best out of it. 4 of Swords that's coming in on that mutable energy that comes through there. Yeah, I think this is to do with healing, and I think this is a deep healing as well within you, making you feel a little bit more secure about what is going on in the energies that are around you and within you, connecting the two in a really good way. And you get the 4 of Pentacles as well. This is really constructive stuff. So you get the 4, which is the square, and the square is a real good sort of it's the cornerstone of life in a way. And these are fundamental things. And in this side here is the energy is sort of saying to you, look, there's no way around this. You've got to go through this with the 4 of Pentacles, with the 4 of Swords. Healing has to happen. But with that healing, you get to see clearly the quality ways in which you invest your life. If you can apply this on both sides, you're going to be a winner every day of the week, Taurus. Every day of the week. Let's just have a look, see what's coming in on the... well, hang on. First things first, I want to see how it affects that 9 of Swords. Yeah, the 9 of Swords is that energy there. The 10 of Wands carrying too much. As I said, I think there's a lot that you're creating from within you that doesn't need to be there really at all, more than anything else, Taurus. Let's just see how you're converting the past into the future in regards to your financial sort of side. Page of Wands. Being a little childlike. I almost want to put it on this side here, on your relationship side, because it goes so well with the Knight of Wands. And you get a little bit more direction because you've got that cardinal water that's going on there that's coming in from Cancer. But on this side here, I think it's like streamlining to see where the fun in what you're doing, the enjoyment that feeds through you, but then feeds into your life. And I think this could be glimpses of the past that you're trying to reinstall within your relationship side. But I think first of all, you need to install it within your financial side, because I think that was the thing that was taking the most amount of your energy in the recent past. And how do you do the conversion in your relationship side? You get the Judgment card. As I said, these two here, I think, go even better like that. But I'm going to take them as they come. The Judgment card there is, responding to your calling, responding to what is good for you in regards to spirit, emotions, relationships, coming back to feeling good about life. Not that you weren't feeling good, but you might have just lost a little sight of it in the recent past. And I think, your friends, your family and what have you, they brought you back to that sort of thing. Brought you back into line with the energy which is good for you in the sense of community and so forth. Because as Taurus, you don't really like being on your own as such. Obviously you like most people, but Taurus in particular, is deciding for your own future. And that's what the ball is all about, But at the same time, a bull loves to be in a herd. And being in that herd gives them sense of well-being, but not just that, it gives them a sense of objective, of raison d'etre. And I think you're starting to feel that you should be feeling that a lot more within the relationship side of your life. Streamlining on your financial side, following the evident path and coming back into the bosom of your family, and your family in the sense of friends, community, or your partner, whatever it is, and feeling good about it all. There you go, Taurus. I will see you soon, maybe on the energy update. There may be one coming out over the weekend, or I'll see you here again. Whichever way it is, I hope you get the best out of these readings. And yes, thank you very much for all the support you give to this channel. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.